Hello friends, it's me Sandy at Purple Honey Farms, and today we are going to be talking about my favorite, well, one of my favorite flowers. It goes kind of back and forth between tulips and ranunculus and lisianthus, and today we're going to be talking about ranunculus. It is one of my favorite flowers, as I said, because it is so absolutely gorgeous. It is kind of like a rose, but it has just all these little, it's more like a paper rose because it has all these little folds inside of it, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And they come in just an array of colors, and they are truly winter flowers. And in my part of the country, it's really hard to grow ranunculus in the field. So I'm going to show you my method of growing it. This is actually my second time growing ranunculus, but I did it terribly wrong the first time, and so I did what any person would do in that situation, and I contacted the professionals. So what I found out was that you actually have to soak the corms, and that's where I messed up. Is I did not soak my corms, and I just stuck them right out into the field, and of course I waited too long. For my part of the country in 7A, I need to have mine in the ground or in some type of dirt now, which is mid-January to late January, if I want flowers come Mother's Day, or maybe even a little bit before come Mother's Day, just for the simple fact that they're not going to live after that in my part of the country for very long at all, because it's going to get too hot for them. They strive and really flourish in a cooler climate. So they're not even really all that zoned for my zone. So I'm going to go ahead and show you, these are called corms. They're not called bulbs, and they're not called, they look like little spiders, or I don't know, they look insane is what they look like. So this is what they look like when they come to you, and they, like I said, they look like little spiders. They're really small, and then what you do is you put them in water to soak from anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. And when you do that, you have to have the water continuously moving. That's another thing that a lot of people don't really get into. Now, there's plenty of different methods for that. You can do what I do, and I use a bubbler, and I will show you how I do that here in just a minute. Or you can do the bathtub method. A lot of people put them in organza bags, or just some kind of mesh your bag, and then make sure that you label your bags, because you do not want to mix up these corms. And just make sure that the water is like dripping at a pretty good rate, kind of like, you know, if it was going to be a really cold day and you want to make sure that the water is continuously dripping and moving so that your pipes don't freeze. So you want it at that type of speed and consistency. Let's see, another way to do it, I have seen people actually use fish tank filters that, you know, run the water continuously, and I mean, that's a good idea too, but then you're probably going to spend anywhere from $20 to $30, where with my method, I use my husband's fishing bubbler, and it cost me nothing. I just kind of stole it out of the fishing gear, and so that's what I use, and I'll show a video of that. So like I said, you're going to want to let them sit in that water for anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, and this is what you will end up with. See how much more plump, and they just like look like little bitty baby potatoes or something. That one fell out. They go from this to this, so it's a huge difference. They get really plump, and they're still hard. I mean, don't think that they're not hard. They're still hard. This one I can actually separate because it has two different eyes on it, and this one has two different eyes on it. So once but right now I'm just gonna do the one color that I've already, and that's the only thing with mine having a bubbler, is that I can only do one at a time because I don't have any organza bags on hand. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do the bubbler system. So once I get them out of the water, I just transfer them to a paper towel, let them just kind of dry off a little bit, and then I put them in this Tupperware bowl just so that I can have good access here. So for the dirt that you're going to put them in, you can do it two different ways is what I have seen. I have seen people actually put them in 72 or what is it, 36 plug trays, the bigger plug trays. And you're more than welcome to do that. But these are quite large, and honestly, they would take up the entire plug tray. So what I do is I get one of these bottom trays that most of the time you stick your plug trays on and you just fill water up into it. But I have that pre-moistened dirt. It's real fine. It's just a starter mix with lukewarm water in it. It's been sitting out for a while, so it's down to room temperature now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go through these, and if it has more than one eye on it, I'm probably going to go ahead and cut that and separate that. And then I'm going to plant them. You're going to want to plant them with the little spider legs down, okay? And we will get as many of these in here as possible. The color that I am doing today is Merlot, and they are a gorgeous kind of purple burgundy color. Ranunculus are beautiful wedding flowers. They're beautiful flowers in general. They come in so many different colors, and they are extremely cold hardy. They thrive in really cold weather. That's why people in the South don't generally even attempt them, but they should. Just start them a little earlier. We should always attempt these flowers. Like I said, one favorite. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprinkle just a little bit of dirt over top of them to make sure that they don't dry out. And then I am not going to put a humidity dome or anything over top of them. Instead, what I am going to do is take them to my basement. I don't want them to freeze, okay? Most people put them on like a high shelf or something like that. I'm a little bit nervous to put them out right now. We just got a huge ice storm, and I don't want them to freeze. So instead I'm gonna put them in my basement in the dark, They really love the dark, and I'm gonna leave them there for 2 weeks. As soon as the 2 weeks is over, I will bring them upstairs. They're gonna have these little white nodule root looking things on top of them. That's when you know that they're about ready. At that point, you can take them and put them under a light if you want to. You can leave them here in this, but just know that once you stick them under light, the roots are gonna grow a little bit out, so you're gonna at least want to thin this out to 2 trays instead of 1. If you decide at that point that you're ready to put them out, you can put them in a greenhouse, which is what I suggest doing, especially in the south, just because that way you can control the temperature a little bit better. I may not put them out in the greenhouse this year. I may actually do crate planting with these this year. I had talked about that a little bit in my lisianthus video, but I may actually put these in crates and just plant them in crates this year. That way I can move them into the greenhouse, I can move them out into the field if I want to, or I can just leave them in my garage. It really doesn't matter. They are not one of those plants that has to have the perfect amount of sunlight, and they really truly like the cold. So I'm going to keep them about 50 degrees or so, 50 to 60 degrees in the basement for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to pull them out, and whatever the weather is, it will be fine. I have seen these completely covered in snow and they still sprout up and do just fine. Like I said, as long as they don't completely freeze and you have a little bit workable dirt, you are good to go. They are very, very winter hardy. They can live through just about anything. So the only reason that I'm gonna throw just a little bit of dirt over top of these is just to make sure that they don't dry out, shrivel up, and become this again. So with all that saying, I truly enjoy Ranunculus. It is one of my favorites, and I hope that you give it a try. If you are a new gardener, give it a try. I mean, all you can do is, you can buy a little bitty bag like this. This is one of the more rare colors, so you're not gonna get as many in the bag. And I mean, just try it, and you will have this amazing new flower to your flower garden. Or you can be like me and you can do tons and tons and tons of them, and you can add them to your flower garden. So I hope that you guys had a good time, and shoot any questions that you might have down in the comment section, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we will see you in the next one.